Hi, my name is Adam, and this is my presentation project on Emperor Meiji. So the reason why I chose him is because I think he's really important in Japan and East Asia, but overall like all over Asia. So why was he important? I got some main ideas. He was a very important leader in the late 19th century to 20th century. He was a very strong figure for Japan's modernization from its feudal state. He ordered some crucial systems in Japan. He also won a lot of big battles due to his modernization and westernization against other nations. Alright, so something interesting about Emperor Meiji was that his name when he was born was Sachinomiya, but his personal name was Mutsuhito. He took the name Meiji, which means enlightened rule. When he got the throne, the new name Meiji was a symbol for Japan's new shift to modernization. Okay, so before Meiji in Japan, Japan was ruled by warlords from the Tokugawa shogunate. Japan was also isolated due to the Sakoku policy. Samurai dominated in power over Japan, and there was outdated technology and a pretty weak military. So the Meiji Restoration is probably one of the most important things in Japan history. When Meiji gained power, the shogun's power would be abolished due to the fact that they were pretty weak and holding back Japan. Samurai were believing in restoring the emperor's power so the country would unite again. Emperor Meiji was only 15 when he got power, but that still made him very important in reforming Japan. Alright, so Emperor Meiji is now emperor, and there's a new government. The new government had to be strong so it wouldn't be able to be colonized from other places. The old feudal systems would be replaced with more modern systems, and the new military would be adapted to combat other Western nations. Alright, for the political reformations, there's a lot of things Emperor Meiji did that he ordered for. Political privileges of the samurai class was abolished. By 1900s, Japan had already equipped itself with a modern constitution, a parliamentary system, an updated version of the judicial system, universal education, a national standing army, private ownership of land, a nationwide taxation system. And all these systems were made to make Japan more modernized too. So Meiji's economic modernization, Japan rapidly industrialized under Meiji's rule. This included railroads being used, telegraph lines for electronic communication, factories and industries, and many new technology advancements were made in this era. So the new military being made under Meiji was very important for its modernization in Japan. A new military was made to defend and help strengthen Japan, with it being inspired from Western nations. The modern army was inspired by Germany, and the navy was inspired by Britain. There would also be a new mandatory military service, which boosted the numbers. I think it's kind of like a draft. And with that, Japan won a lot of battles for its strength. And with that, Japan as a world power. So Japan would win the Sino-Japanese War and the Russo-Japanese War. This showed their power, and they would be given Taiwan and basically Korea. They would also end the unfair treaties from the West from their newly gained power. And Japan put itself to be a world power around the world. So it looked like Japan was like a pretty small peninsula, but in reality, it was pretty strong. It could compete with other nations that were pretty big in size. So what about the people? Japan's changing society. Japan under Meiji's rule had made Japan more modernized and somewhat Western, so that would affect the people as well. So Japanese people would begin to wear Western clothes and eat Western food. There was a new public school system for boys and girls, and daily life was changing every year of new advancements in Japan. With every leader, they aren't perfect. There's always going to be positives and negatives, and that's with Emperor Meiji as well. So for some positives, there was a fast and rapid modernization, a stronger economy, a more united Japan, and improved education under his rule. And the negatives were that there was some harsh labor in the economic modernization. Old traditions were slowly dying out, and a rise of imperialism and nationalism, which is pretty controversial. In conclusion, Emperor Meiji was a very important leader and a figure in Japan and how it is today. During his reign, a lot of changes in Japan were done, and his transformation put Japan on the map after its isolation. Before Meiji Japan and after Meiji Japan showed what leaders could do in just 45 years for their nation. I learned a lot from Emperor Meiji from researching him, and a lot from Japan's past. So to conclude my research question, I think Emperor Meiji was a really important leader in Japan, but also he was a very important person in East Asia and Asia overall.